Cold showers. I know it's like a popular thing right now, and I want to show you what the science says because it's pretty darn cool about how cold showers can help you do some insane things in your body, including losing visceral fat. Yeah, for 14 days, I want you to give this a go, but let me explain why this works for you. Let's dive in. Okay, here's a new concept you may or may not be aware of, and it's super important for those of you who are trying to lose weight. For starters, you have two types of fat. You have white fat and you have brown fat. And white fat has less mitochondria in it. And so it's harder to burn white fat. And white fat, it typically likes to build around three areas in your body. It builds around your chest. So, for women, this can be the white fat in their breast. For men who are maybe even building some man boobs, that can be all white fat, which is why it's so hard to get rid of. They don't have as much mitochondria in it. Our abdomen, visceral fat to me, visceral fat and abdominal fat are very much the same type of fat, and they're white fat. Less mitochondria. Visceral fat, of course, is the fat around your organs. And then the third place that this white fat likes to go to are your thighs, specifically the upper part of your thighs. So the name of the fat loss game is let's not accumulate white fat. But what if we've already accumulated it? The next name of the game is how can I turn white fat into something called brown fat? Brown fat is more burnable. It has more mitochondria. And so the more we can turn white fat into brown fat, the quicker and the easier that is going to be to burn. So this is really important for those of you that are struggling to lose weight. I want you to think this through because it's possible that you just need more brown fat and then everything you're doing is going to work for you, okay? So here's what cold showers do. First is a cold shower will help convert white fat and turn it into brown fat. How does it do that? It does that by supplying and activating more mitochondrial energy inside that white fat. So you can change white fat. It doesn't have to stay white fat, and you can turn it into brown fat so it's easier to burn. Fasting, by the way, does the same thing. Mix a cold shower with some fasting, maybe right before you go back into food, right before that break fast meal, you would do a cold shower so that you're activating and really making sure that you're getting this white fat turned into brown fat. The second thing that we know cold showers will do is they will actually start to burn more brown fat. So it's kind of like, when we have a prebiotic that kills bad bacteria but also feeds good bacteria. When I look at a shower, a cold shower, it not only converts white fat into brown fat, but it also gets your body promoting more brown fat burning because of this mitochondrial control. Now, here's something really interesting to think about, which is, okay, how cold does the shower have to be? If you're like me, this is where I went with this information. I was like, really? I'm not a fan of cold showers. I know I always feel better afterwards, but not necessarily something I'm like, yay, I get to take a cold shower today. So here's what you need to know. The shower needs to be 58 degrees. 58 degrees Fahrenheit is how cold that water has to be, and you want to be under that cold shower a minute to 2 minutes. The goal is you don't want to be shivering. So if you want to turn this white fat into brown fat, you don't want to shiver. So those of you that are cold plunge lovers and you're jumping in the cold plunge all the time and you're shivering in there, there's a benefit to that. But if we're trying to turn white fat into brown fat, we want to keep it the water around 58 degrees. We don't want to shiver. A minute or 2 is all you need. So I'm just going to leave the study there so that we can all geek out on it together. Now, another way of looking at this, and in the article, the study talks about this, is that it doesn't just have to be a cold shower. So I started to look at these principles of white fat, brown fat, and I was like, okay, well, where else can we put ourselves into some colder environments to get this transfer of white fat to brown fat and then to burn more brown fat? Well, being cold, outside being cold, in your house being cold, you just need to keep the temperature that you're around or that you're in at 58 degrees. So now the trick is don't put a sweater on. You're not looking looking to warm yourself up. You're looking to stay in that 58-degree environment for a minute or two so you get that thermogenic experience and you get the burning fat that you're looking for. I even started to think, could you find a way? I mean, I think it would be hard to bring your body temperature completely down to 58. Yeah, it would be really hard. Now come to think about it. If you brought your room temperature, so could you bring your room temperature down into the 58 area, and would you be burning more fat while you're sleeping? That's the way to look at it. So could we get that room icy cold? And I know all my menopausal women are like, yes, because they'll be burning fat while your menopausal symptoms are coming down and you're burning fat. All because you kept the bedroom at 58 degrees. That's kind of cool, right? So there's a lot of ways we can use this science to apply. I've even thought about, again, I'm throwing this out here, on this next statement, this is more of a curiosity. Could we all try this and see? I don't even know what ice pack of areas that you're we always want to spot mobilize certain fat, but if we know that white fat exists around the abdomen, we know that it exists on the front of your thighs, there are things I've seen some interesting advertisement for vests that are cold that will bring your core temperature down so that you're burning more fat quickly. I have no idea if they work or not, but I started thinking, well, could you take ice packs and maybe put them on parts of your body that you wanted to burn more fat and see if it would just make that lateral transition of going from white fat to brown fat so that your fasting works a lot easier. Don't quote me on that. I am thinking through if you and I were just pontificating about a possible theory, that's a possibility. I don't know until we all try it. Let's all try it and see what we think. But the evidence is very, very clear that cold is a beautiful way to burn fat. Now you get to decide how that cold is going to be and what you're going to do to immerse yourself in those cold environments. And a couple of hacks that I'm in California, so I should not be giving anybody advice on how to weather cold, but I will tell you a cold way that I've done it when I've done ice plunges before is you put a hat on. Just put a hat on, and it kind of keeps that cold a little more tolerant. I can tell you at my house I have a sauna, and I'm actually looking forward to getting a cold plunge. I just now know if I'm trying to burn fat, I don't want to stay in there until I'm shivering. There you go. That's why cold plunges work, why cold showers work. But let's try it every day for 14 days because it really is that ability to do it over and over and over again that you're going to see the result. If you go jump in a shower once and then you're like, Dr. Mindy doesn't know what she's talking about. One day is not going to do it, 7 days not going to do it, but 14 days, we might see a difference. Let's define what fat is. Fat is storage for things your body doesn't know what to do with. It doesn't have a place to put these things, and here's what they are. It doesn't know where to put extra hormones, doesn't know where to put extra glucose, and it doesn't know where to put extra toxins. So it stores it in fat. So when we look at fat, it literally is saving your life because if your body put all those toxins, hormones, and glucose into your internal organs, you would die much quicker. So the body's always working in your favor, and it understands this. So what it does is it stores it around your belly, your booty, your legs, your arms, your face, your breasts, it's storing it to save your life. But belly is really interesting because that is primarily a toxin and hormone storage. So just talk to any menopausal woman and she'll tell you what the heck just happened to my midsection. And it's because your body is trying to adapt to a new hormonal profile. Any of my women that are taking HRT or bioidenticals, same process, where it's oh my God, the body, it didn't know what to do with this synthetic version of estrogen or progesterone that came in, so it stored it around your belly. So whether you are just randomly getting this belly fat, or you got it during menopause, or you got it when you went on all of the different hormone replacement options, here is what I want you to do. Ready? Okay, number one, I've talked a lot about this, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's a really fun one, and that's to start your morning with coffee. Now, coffee is high in polyphenols, which is great for your gut health. It's also good for bringing inflammation down. The other piece that I talk a ton about in Eat Like a Girl, which by the way is out for order now, is that what doesn't get enough press, so I'm going to give it press here, is that your gut microbes send a signal via the portal vein to your liver, telling your liver how to be when it comes to this metabolic switch. So if your blood sugar is really high and you can't get it under control, we got to work on the gut and the gut health. And one of the things we know is a really good cup of coffee, like organic, really low, like small batched, biodynamic coffee, can really support good microbial health, which will help with your gut's ability to signal to the liver to bring your blood sugar down. Now, beyond that, what I want you to know is that study after study after study is saying that coffee is incredible for weight loss, and let me tell you why. Here was a 2019 meta-analysis. So meta-analyses are where they're looking at many different studies, and they found that coffee intake helped people lose weight, especially when they had 2 or more cups a day. Okay, there's the dosage. 2017 showed that coffee was an appetite suppressant. A 2016 review found that coffee intake is linked to successful weight loss and maintenance. I mean, it goes on and on and on, the number of studies that show the benefit of coffee when it's clean coffee, healthy coffee. And now I do want to point out that coffee, your cup of coffee has a half-life of 6 hours. So that means 6 hours after you drink it, the caffeine is out of your system. So or half of it's out of your system. So for my menopausal women, I just want to point out that if you're struggling to sleep, you want to make sure that you want to have your coffee earlier in the day. Number 2, the second thing you can do, and this is especially for women, this is especially for my menopausal women, and I wrote about this so much in Eat Like a Girl. It was one of my missions when I wrote Eat Like a Girl, which is out right now for order, and that is let's bring back soy. Soy is not bad. Please, wherever the publicist for soy needs to fire their publicist and get a new one, because soy is so helpful. It is a phytoestrogen, and it is an added natural protective estrogen that when you eat soy, and soy comes, just for those of you that are like, I don't know where I'm going to get soy. Soy can come in tofu, it can come in edamame, it can come in miso, it can come in tempeh. I know Chef Leslie did a really, really good recipe for tempeh in here, so soy is abundant. We just need to lean into it. And if you're still a little nervous, let me just tell you some of the studies on it. So here we go. 2019 meta-analysis means they looked at a lot of studies, found that eating soy regularly helped women lose weight. And that review included 22 studies, and they found that women who included soy products as part of their weight loss diet lost 2 to 10 pounds more than women who didn't. So hopefully, if you're not convinced yet, let me tell you something else. 2013 review showed that overweight women who took pure soy isoflavonoids, so this is going to be in like your protein powders. Those of you that want to do, and Chef Leslie did some really cool recipes in here with using protein powders, that the women that were overweight, what they found in this review was that they lost weight and had better blood sugar control when they brought soy isoflavonoids into their diet on a regular basis. And then there was even another study, a 2020 study, that showed that these soy isoflavonoids really increase your metabolism. So please, let's bring soy back into the conversation around menopause and really around belly fat, because soy is a protective estrogen. And something to really think about for my menopausal women is as you're losing estrogen, your body tries to hold on to as much as possible. So if we bring these phytoestrogens back in like soy, what happens now is that your body doesn't have to hold on to the estrogen. So you're giving it an excuse to let go of the estrogen that is around your belly. Another key point. Okay. Number 3, this is super fun. You don't have to do anything much with this one, but lay your body down in your bed and sleep, but you want to sleep in a cooler environment. So check this out. If you want to speed up your metabolism, burn more belly fat, you want to be sleeping in a room that is somewhere between 66 and 68 degrees. But a colder environment is not only a menopausal woman's dream, but it is proving by 2 different studies I want to tell you about that a 66 degree Fahrenheit room for 1 month increased people's metabolic rate by 10%, and they had better blood sugar control the next day. So what's the temperature of your room? Let's get it to 66 degrees. They also found that when you go into these colder rooms and sleep, that it actually puts you in a deeper, more restorative sleep. There are 2 things to measure with sleep: your REM sleep. REM sleep is how you hold on to memory, and deep sleep. Deep sleep is how your brain detoxes. So the bonus of sleeping in a colder room is when we say restorative sleep, it means you're getting great REM sleep and you're getting great deep sleep. So those of you that maybe have an Oura Ring or a Whoop band, start measuring your sleep as you do. And I would try this for a month. Go into this colder room and see if you notice a change in your belly fat. Okay, last one, another really easy one to do. I give you 4 easy tips here, and that is to drink more water. Now, something interesting about water is that there was a 2019 review that found that drinking more water helped people lose weight. And they found that why it did this was because drinking more water reduced your cravings. So my first thought is, why don't you be drinking water all day long? And then my second thought is, when you feel hungry, try having a glass of water first and see if that changes your hunger level. A large glass of water before a meal can be especially effective, and people who drank water lost an average of 5% of their body weight in fat than compared to people who didn't drink water. Think about that. This is really interesting. 7.5 pounds of water or of weight can be lost in a 150-pound person just by drinking water every day. That's what this study said. And we also know that 16 ounces of water right before meals can increase weight loss. So these are easy. Tell me if you think so. Like, I try to give you guys really easy things. I want to help you understand why your health got off track. So hopefully you understand what's behind belly fat. But 4 things: cup of coffee in the morning, more soy, keep your room cold at night, and drink more water. Like, everybody can do that, right? So put it in the comment if you like it that easy. Because I like my health to be easy, because the best health plan that you can customize for yourself is the one you can stick to. So if it gets hard over time, it's not that helpful. It has to be that easy. But easy only works when you understand why you got your body in that situation. When you understand why your body got there, like, what is belly fat? It's not just there to make you feel horrible, but it's actually a storage for hormones and for toxins. And then when you look at these 4 things, you start to realize how easy it becomes to achieve all your health goals. On this video, I'm gonna show you 3 habits you have to give up today because it's slowing down your metabolism. Let's just get into it. Here's number 1. Are you ready? You're not getting enough sun. Your metabolism is slowing down because you are not getting enough sun. How the heck could that be? Let me explain this. So to start with, there are 3 times a day that you need to see sun. We've talked about this before: the sunrise, the sunset, and the middle of the day. The reason that this is important is because when your eyes register the red light from the beginning of the day, the end of the day, and the middle of the day, it regulates cortisol. What does your body do when it gets too much cortisol? I'll give you a hint. It stores it as fat. So we need the light to regulate our cortisol levels. So that's the first piece here. Second piece that the sun does, love this. There's a new study that came out 3 years ago, not completely new. They were trying to understand why people gained weight in the winter compared to the summer. And they found that actually sunlight on our skin The fat that's right underneath the skin, when sun comes in, it mobilizes that fat. I am not joking. I will leave the link to the study that when you get sunlight on your skin where there's fat right underneath, it will burn fat for you. So get out in the sun. Make sure your eyes are seeing the sun in the morning and the evening. 20 minutes a day, that's all it really takes. And you are now speeding up your metabolism in a different fashion. You are making sure that you're getting to that subcutaneous fat. I'm gonna leave the study in there because I know some of you are gonna be like, what? I don't believe you. I'm gonna leave the study in there. Second habit you have to give up if you want a faster metabolism, and that is you have to stop eating the bad oils. So we've talked about this. The bad oils are those canola, cottonseed, corn oils. But these oils, you gotta get them out. They're worse than sugar. They're worse than carbs. The worst thing you could do for your metabolism as far as food goes is eating bad oils. Stop it. They're also causing you inflammatory problems, not only your brain fog inflammatory problems, but joints. So we gotta get the bad oils out. Third thing that you've got to stop doing because it's slowing your metabolism down is you've got to stop using toxic beauty products. What? How could makeup, how could lotion, how could shampoo affect your metabolism? These are what we call estrogen mimickers. When you put a toxic lotion on your skin, it goes into your bloodstream, and what it does is it spikes your estrogen levels. But it's not the good estrogen that you normally make, it's the bad estrogen. It's fake estrogen, and your miraculous body doesn't know what to do with that. So what it does is it registers this fake estrogen, and it's like, foreign invader, don't know what this is, I'm gonna store it as fat. So stop the toxic beauty products. Go and scan all of your makeups, your lotions. Men, you're using toxic stuff on your skin as well. My favorite app is called Skin Deep or Think Dirty. I'll put links in my notes here so you can see it. And by the way, you know what else is a toxic product that's going right into your lymph system, making you hold on to more weight, is your deodorant. So my favorite deodorant is called Primally Pure. You can go to my webpage. You'll see all my favorite products there that we've vetted for your guys' benefit. A lot of these companies give you guys discounts, so go check out drmindypelz.com. And you can go to my store. You'll see all the things there that I love that are non-toxic. But when we're constantly putting these toxic substances on our body, you're raising this fake estrogen, and the body's so smart, it doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it as fat. So those are the three things I want you to avoid. Stop staying inside, stop the bad oils, and stop the toxic load that is causing your body to hold on to fat more than it needs to. How do we use fasting to get this metabolism to speed up? We want a high metabolism. So how do we get it to speed up? So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna learn to compress your eating window. So if this is new to you, then what I'm going to tell you is that there is an art to how you approach fasting. And it starts by taking all the food you eat and compressing it into a short time period. So when we put our food in one small little eating period, we leave an elongated period in our 24 hours for fasting. And it's this longer fasting period where our metabolism speeds up. Now, once we've got this art of this condensed eating window, then now we've got to learn how to switch in and out of food and fasting. So let's dive into the science. I love the science. Cell Metabolism says that the best eating window, the best time period is 8 to 10 hours in a day, and you become metabolically immune from any diet, any poor diet. So high fat, high sugar, Western diet, as long as you're eating that in an 8 to 10 hour window, giving your body more time for rest, then your metabolism is going to be higher than if you eat that same meal throughout a longer period of time, 12, 14 hours in a day. So this is really exciting. So to answer the question of this video, can fasting speed up your metabolism? The answer is heck yeah, it can. But what we've got to do is we've got to learn how to go in and out of food and in and out of fasting. We've got to take our eating window and start to compress it. Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on this link right here and enjoy. I am going to show you a very simple way to understand when the best time to eat is to speed up your metabolism. Think of this video like you and I are sitting in line at the grocery store. And you find out that I'm a fasting expert. And you're like, oh, okay, well, when should I eat if I want to speed up my metabolism? I get that I should fast. When should I eat? This is what I would tell you. These are the 3 things I want you to remember, okay? Number 1, pick an 8 to 10 hour window. Now, the thing I want to tell you before I move on to step number 2 is that pick the eating window that works best for you. When my kids were little, we used to all come in and eat dinner at 8 o'clock at night. That wasn't really great for my metabolism, but it worked for my family. So my eating window was like noon to 8. Some of you can really get that dinner in early, which is great, but you'd rather have breakfast. So just push that eating window into an earlier part of the day. So 8 to 10 hour eating window, and outside of the eating window, there's no food, nothing that's going to spike your glucose. So I just want to point that out. So second thing, please mind your melatonin. I've discussed this before, but I know we're of all different backgrounds here and knowledge sets. So I want to bring it to your attention again, because it's so important. Losing weight, by the way, is not difficult when you start to put these principles together. First thing in the morning, hour when you first get up, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, melatonin is high. Melatonin is your sleep hormone. As long as melatonin's on the scene, you are more insulin resistant. So if you wake up in the morning and you eat a bowl of cereal first thing when you get up, as compared to waiting a couple hours and letting that melatonin level come down, that same bowl of cereal is going to cause you more metabolic challenge when you eat it first. It's going to be stored as fat. Let me just make it easy. It's going to be stored as fat if you eat it first thing in the morning. If you wait an hour or two, it won't get stored as fat. Your body will use that for fuel so that you can go about your day. So second thing is mind your melatonin. I call them bookends. Don't eat first thing in the morning. Don't eat late at night. I had an incredible conversation with a melatonin expert. His name is John Lawrence. You can go to the Resetter podcast. Dr. John Lawrence was interviewed on melatonin. I also have a great interview with Dr. David Jockers on my Resetter podcast where we talk specifically about this melatonin piece. So if that intrigues you, go make sure you see that. Okay, third thing. This one's cool too. Doesn't cost any money. What you're going to do is in this eating window, I want you to pick the eating window you are the most active. Let me tell you why. When you eat, your blood sugar goes up. Now, what you do with that blood sugar matters. If you are sitting most of the time, that blood sugar, if it's too high, could get stored as fat. Whereas, let's say you eat your breakfast at 10 o'clock and you go for a 20-minute walk. So you go for that 20-minute walk and you're now using that blood sugar. Your body's putting it into muscles, it's putting it up into the brain. So it doesn't have to store that sugar. It will use that sugar for what it's needed for, which is energy. Now, the other thing I want you to remember is that your brain needs sugar too. And when I mean sugar, I mean blood sugar, glucose. Your brain needs glucose too. So this 10 to 4 eating window that a lot of people do, or 10 to 6 eating window, if you're busy at work and you're highly concentrated, your brain is using that food, that glucose as well. Just make sure you're not sitting there the whole time. Get up and move around. How we use glucose is really important. If we're not using it with our brain, we're not asking our body to use it, it will be stored as fat and slow your metabolism down. So I really want to point that out. So 3 things, 8 to 10 hour eating window, mind your melatonin, pick the most active time of your day so that your body can use that sugar. Okay, you're not losing belly fat. I get it. Watch this video so you know exactly how to get rid of your belly fat. So I really want you to remember that cortisol and belly fat, those go hand in hand. So as your belly is growing, it's not always diet related. It can also be stress related.